Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 118 of Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay. I'm back with a brand new episode. Today's episode, we'll be making my week 3 college football game picks and predictions, and also talk about, a little bit of week 2, what's going on during the season so far. I have a slate of games here. It's looking like a real good week of college football this week. Let's get right into it. First game up, Clemson. Number 12, Clemson, going on the road into Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. This is an ACC matchup. Georgia Tech is 2-0, Clemson 1-1. Their win coming against Troy, and their loss coming against LSU week 1 at home. Now, Clemson's defense, has been living up to their potential, but their offense, not so much, especially in the LSU game. So I hope Cade Klubnik bounces back and gets back into his groove like he was last year, because he proved me wrong. Like I said last year that I wasn't that impressed with Cade Klubnik, but throughout the year he proved me wrong. But can he do it again? We'll see that. We know that Clemson defense is loaded. T.J. Parker, Peter Woods, and Avion Terrell, and Sammy Brown. So we know that defense is loaded. And of course, Georgia Tech, Haynes King, quarterback of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's a good team. They're not, like I said, so I wouldn't take them lightly. They did upset Cam Ward last year at home in Miami. So Georgia Tech got recent history of upsetting top-ranked teams like Clemson or Miami. But I'm going to go Clemson in this matchup. I think Clemson offense will get rolling. I think they should be able to get – I hope I think they will get the running game going more in this matchup, opening play action for Cade Klubnik, getting Antonio Williams, Bryant Wesco involved, their receivers, because they got very talented receivers that are only like sophomores. Like I said, I think they'll get more involved. Cade Klubnik can use his legs also. The Clemson defense is going to be elite, especially that pass rush that's led by 2 first-round picks. They'll be in next year's NFL draft, and T.J. Parker and Peter Woods on that Clemson defensive line. But I'm going Clemson in this matchup. It probably will be close for a little bit, but I think Clemson will pull away and get the win over Georgia Tech. Next up, we got Wisconsin 2-0 taking on number 19 Alabama. Alabama, of course, they lost to Florida State week 1, which is shocking. I ain't gonna lie, that's one game I got wrong. I did not see coming at all. I thought it'd be a blowout, like I said, but Tommy Castanalo backed up his words. Gus Malzahn, their offensive coordinator at Florida State, called an awesome game. Doing the reverse jet sweeps, running the football. Tommy Castanalo using his legs and exploiting holes in the Alabama defense. Florida State was able to get pressure on Alabama also, but Alabama did struggle on offense. Receivers dropping balls, especially Ryan Williams. He did get hurt in that game. He ended up leaving, I think, either in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Jeremy Bernard, that's his name. I forgot to pronounce it. Bernard was their leading receiver. Even though of course we all believe and know that Ryan Williams is their best receiver. He led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns last year. But a lot of people call him for Ty Simpson's job after week 1. Like, he actually played a pretty good game. Actually, if you look at his stats, like I said in our last episode, college football predictions and game picks. But I think Alabama should be able to bounce back at Wisconsin. Last year they did beat Wisconsin handily on the road. That game was on the road. Now, granted, Jalen Milroe was the starter, and they had a few other guys, but they still got some guys back from that team. So I think Alabama's going to bounce back in this game. It probably could be close in the beginning, but I think they're going to pull away handily, and I think Alabama's going to win this game against Wisconsin. Next up, we got the backyard brawl between Pitt, and my West Virginia Mountaineers taking on Pitt at home, and this will be at 3:30 p.m. Now, Yeah, my West Virginia Mountaineers. I'm disappointed. Last week we lost to Ohio, team in the MAC conference, but they are a really good team. They did win 11 games last year. That was more of a trap game because, like I said, I think the team was looking forward to Pitt because Pitt and West Virginia got a rivalry. There are two schools that are barely an hour away from each other. When I went to school in West Virginia for a year, like I said, I went to the basketball game. Like West Virginia, actually hates Pitt. Like they'll eat, boom, Pitt, eat. I don't want to cuss, but eat this Pitt, eat this. It's like a little chant. Regardless of what sport they play Pitt in, whether it's basketball, boys basketball, girls basketball, soccer, they're gonna chant that. Even if we're not playing Pitt, they're gonna chant that. Last year I know we played Pitt. We lost. Got exposed, got embarrassed. I would like to sit here and say that West Virginia we're gonna bounce back, and we're gonna beat Pitt. But honestly, like I said, I'm not a delusional fan, especially when it comes to NFL or college. I'm just not. I'm concerned at quarterback, Nico Marchiol. He didn't look good in that game against Ohio. Offensive line didn't. The running game didn't. Our receivers were okay. But it's not their fault. It's like I said, I'm just concerned with Nico Marchiol. And plus, we did have a lot of players at the transfer portal. I think West Virginia, like I said, if I'm wrong, we were one of the schools that led with the most transfers to come to the team from the portal. I think 70 plus players. So we got a whole lot of new players on our team. I don't know if the chemistry is there yet. And I would like for it to be a bounce back game, but in reality, I think Pitt's the better team. So I'm going with Pitt over my West Virginia Mountaineers. Like I said, I keep it real. I know Rich Rodriguez, he's a good coach, and I do expect him to turn around within another year or two. So I think he needs another year or two to get things going, because he got there during the offseason. He's back in West Virginia, new conference, new players, so it's going to take some time for him to, get things in the right direction. So I'll get this to Pitt. Next game, we got the Georgia Bulldogs, number 6 ranked Georgia, 2-0, taking on 15 ranked Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville, Tennessee. This game, of course, college game day will be in Knoxville, Tennessee. The game will be at 3:30 p.m. Now, I saw a video that said Gunnar Stockton is not better than Carson Beck at football. And I agree. I never really was in love with Gunnar Stockton, even when he got in when Carson Beck got hurt and they beat Texas in the SEC championship, because he almost lost that game for Georgia. He threw for like 70 yards and a pick. He had a little bit of game in the college football playoff, but Georgia's not that team that they really rely on the quarterback position. I think that's probably a reason why Carson Beck transferred, because you think of it, since Kirby's been the coach at Georgia, what elite quarterback have they really had that just flourished in their offense? Justin Fields transferred from Georgia to Ohio State, and he went on to be a first-round pick. Now they got Jared Curtis, 2026 quarterback, a 5-star, and next year, in this year's recruiting class, so he'll be at Georgia next year. He may or may not compete for the starting job, depending on how things go this season with Gunnar Stockton. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up transferring within a year or two from Georgia, because just because you're a 5-star, Kirby is not going to start you. I mean, you shouldn't, but he just doesn't take full advantage. He doesn't, when Nick Saban was early on in Alabama, he didn't really rely on the quarterback position all that much. It was running the football, being physical, and elite defensive play. That's Georgia. Elite defense and running the football. Now, they got weapons like Zachariah Branch, the receiver from Texas A&M, I forgot his name. So they got some weapons at Georgia. And I just think that Gunnar Stockton just needs to play like Stetson Bennett, not turn the football over, do enough to where he gets the ball to his playmakers, run the football, play action, and the defense plays elite. Tennessee, on the other hand, I'm worried because their 2 starting corners are going to be out this game. I know that the transfer quarterback from Appalachian State, like I said, he looked good in the first couple games. And if it, like I said, I would lean towards Tennessee, but I just feel like something tells me Georgia. I just trust Kirby Smart more than I do Tennessee's head coach. And Alex, I gotta go Kirby Smart. So I'm going to Georgia Bulldogs and a close one over Tennessee to get the win. Not all that confident, but I trust Kirby more than I do Josh Napier. Josh Napier, Tennessee head coach, in this game. Next up, got USF, number 18 ranked USF, 2-0, taking on number 5 Miami, who's also 2-0. I said UCF has pretty much shocked the world. Their first 2 games, they beat 2 top 25 AP ranked teams. Boise State week 1 at home and Florida on the road. Now, granted, I don't know how that's going to look towards the end of the season when USF is trying to beat the highest ranked Group of 5 team to get into the college football playoff, because it's like, okay, is Boise State really that good that we thought they were? Because Ashley Genty's not on that team no more. They got Maddox, their starting quarterback, back, but in that game against USF, they struggled. They turned the ball over multiple times, turned them over downs, and they looked horrible in that game. Florida, we all thought that they going to be very talented. They brought back the head coach, Billy Napier, gave him that extension, and you got fans cheering at the game, fire Napier, fire, like. And I think they should have let him go last year, but the AD even said this year they're gonna ride it out. But you know how colleges are, or NFL teams, they say one thing and then later down the year they change their mind. So if I still think there's a chance he probably could get fired, because Florida got a hard schedule. They got a very hard schedule, and I'm gonna get to them in a couple minutes. But like they beat Florida. I was shocked. DJ Lagway did not look that good. Their Florida offense did not look that good. They were terrible. I'm disappointed in Florida. I thought they'd be better, even with their hard schedule. Like I'm thinking, like, okay, they can get through these, win half of these games. Certain, LSU or maybe Texas, they got a chance. Texas A&M, but now they may be lucky if they win 7 games from their schedule. But Miami I've been looking real good. They beat Notre Dame week 1. They beat Bethune-Cookman, a team from the SWAC, week 2 last week. But week 1, they looked good against a good Notre Dame team at home. Carson Beck looked good. Their offense looked good. The freshman receiver Malachi Toney. Their Miami defense looked better. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to say Miami's back, but you never know. Who knows? They could make the ACC championship game. Maybe. I hope Mario Cristobal, this be the year that he finally gets Miami to the college football playoff, because they've been overrated just about every year he's been there. And I've just been very disappointed in Miami. But I'm going Miami in this matchup. Granted, UCF has been good these past couple games, but I think this is where it ends for them right now. They're on a streak, but I just think Miami has more talent than Florida and Boise State. They're a better team than both those schools, so I think Miami's going to get the win against USF. But I would not be shocked at all if this is a close game in Miami between these 2 Florida schools. Next up, got Arkansas 2-0 taking on 17-ranked Ole Miss, 2-0, an SEC matchup in Oxford, Mississippi, 7 p.m. Ole Miss, like I said, they got the young quarterback Austin Simmons, led by the head coach Lane Kiffin. I'm going to Ole Miss. Like I said, I think Ole Miss is a better team, more talented, especially at quarterback, a better head coach than Lane Kiffin. Like I said, it might be an interesting game, but I think Ole Miss could be that sneaky, dark team that maybe could get to the SEC championship game. Just maybe. I'd be rooting for them a little bit. Like, I'm from Mississippi, and I'm like, maybe Ole Miss can get there, but it's like every year they always lose a game they shouldn't lose and end up choking. So I don't know, but I think Ole Miss is going to get this win over Arkansas this Saturday. Next up, speaking of Florida, they're 1-1, taking on number 3 ranked LSU, 2-0 in Death Valley, 7:30 p.m. Now, if Florida would have won against USF, this probably would be a top 10-15 matchup between these schools. But I'm worried for Florida. Like, this could get bad. Like, that LSU defense looked really, really good. Perkins, and them looked really, really good against Clemson week 1. Like I said, Garrett Nussmeier looks like he's the best quarterback in the country right now. Like I said, he most likely will be a first-round pick in next year's draft. So, yeah, and plus it's really hard to play in Death Valley at night. That stadium, them lights, them fans being that loud, I just don't see how Florida's going to walk into Death Valley, beat Garrett Nussmeier, Ryan Kelly, and that Tigers defense led by linebacker Perkins. I just don't see it. I'm going LSU in this game. I really just don't see it. And it's going to be a rough season for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators with that hard schedule. I almost feel bad for them. I'm not going to lie. Them and Oklahoma got like the two hardest schedules in the SEC, like by far. Like it's real bad. I'm going to LSU. Next up, 16th-ranked Texas A&M, 2-0, taking on number 8 Notre Dame. I went back and forth with this game because last year's game was in College Station at Texas A&M. It was a really good game, low scoring. Riley Leonard was a quarterback. Now he's off to the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts. Marcel Reed didn't really play that much in this game because he wasn't technically the full-time starter. I don't think he was a full-time starter at that time. I'll have to check back at that game. But Notre Dame ended up winning that game. Their defense played outstanding. Christian Gray, Jeremiah Love. Now, of course, Notre Dame lost some players on offensive line. They got a new starting quarterback and redshirt freshman, C.J. Carr, who won the starting job in the spring for Notre Dame. You got Marcel Reed, sophomore returning quarterback. You got wide receiver KJ Conception for Texas A&M. That roster has a lot of talent. Texas A&M has a lot of talent. They got a really good recruiting class coming in next year. Players like Tristan Givens here at Carver in Columbus, Georgia, 4-star defensive end. Bryce Perry Wright, 4-star defensive end. Caleb Odom, St. John Bosco, 4-star receiver. No, not Caleb Odom. Madden. Yeah, Madden, the receiver for St. John Bosco, 4-star receiver. So they got a lot of talent coming in next year. They always have a lot of talent every year. Of course, they got NIL money and that Texas A&M brand itself. But I'm going Texas A&M. I just trust Marcel Reed more. He got more experience. Of course, not being a starter at a Power 4 school than C.J. Carr does. I think it'll be a good game. But part of me want to go to Notre Dame. Like I said, if they lean with the run with Jeremiah Love and are able to run the ball with him, then I think Notre Dame can win this game. But I just think Texas A&M will win this game. I just trust Marcel Reed just a little bit more than I do C.J. Carr. And if sadly, Notre Dame is 0-1. Like I said, they didn't play last week. They lost to Miami week 1. If they lose this game and fall to 0-2, their chances of getting the college football playoff will probably be like 1% or less, maybe 5% at best. But with Notre Dame not being in the conference, not having a conference championship game, this is gonna hurt them because their toughest games are Miami and Texas A&M. If you lose both, even if it's close, you can't get in. Now, it's different if you in a conference and you lose both of these games, but you go 10-2, and you got other hard games, you can get in. But I just don't see how Notre Dame makes the college football playoff if they lose this game to Texas A&M. This is a must-win game for them, I believe so, at home against Texas A&M. Next up, we got Vanderbilt, 2-0, taking on 11th-ranked South Carolina, also 2-0. This could be a sneaky good game. You got Diego Mavia returning for Vanderbilt. They beat Alabama last year, who was number 1 at the time, week 2. So that was pretty much like their national championship game, beating Alabama at home. I did not see that coming. That was real big win for them. And South Carolina, of course, Lenore Sellers, a talented quarterback for South Carolina, able to run the ball, throw the ball. Like I said, he still needs to get better at that and more consistent. But he's very talented. The South Carolina defense, still wondering how they're going to look, but they got some talented players on that team. And the offensive side of the ball, also, they got some talented players and speed on that team. But I'm going to South Carolina. I think Lenore Sellers is a better quarterback than Diego Pavia. But this could be a sneaky good game, so I would not be surprised if Vanderbilt keeps it close against South Carolina. But yeah, those are my predictions for, like I said, for this week 3 game picks and predictions for this week for college football. Like I said, I got Clemson over Georgia Tech, Alabama over Wisconsin. In backyard brawl, I got Pitt over my West Virginia Mountaineers. I got Georgia against Tennessee. I got Miami over USF. I got Ole Miss over Arkansas, LSU over Florida, Texas A&M over Notre Dame, and South Carolina over Vanderbilt. Let me know in the comments if you agree with any of those predictions. If you disagree with any of them, let me know why. Like I said, I have my reasons. Like I said again, I think each one of these games can be very interesting. A lot probably could be close, but some probably will end up being some blowouts. I could see possibly, I think Alabama, Wisconsin could be one. So Alabama bouncing back because Ryan Williams will be playing in this game. Miami, USF, possibly. Like I said, if they're too much for USF, like I said, I think USF's luck's gonna pretty much probably run out at this point right now. LSU in Florida, like I said, playing at night in that environment, I think it could get ugly for Florida right there. But yeah, those games I can see the ones being blowout. A lot of these games I can see being close. Even Pitt and West Virginia, but I'm just a little worried, especially with our quarterback situation, Nico Marchiol. A lot of transfer players coming in and going. So yeah, it does suck because like all we have is Jaheim White, Rodney Gallagher, a couple players that transferred from Jacksonville State that came over when Rich Rodriguez got hired as our head coach. But yeah, those are my week 3 game picks, college football for the 2025 season. Like I said, click that like, subscribe button if you want to touch down with Cam. Let me get to 300 subscribers. You know, by the end of the year, we're close. Like I said, we like 40 some away, so I know we can get there. Maybe my birthday. Like I said, my birthday's this month, so hey, if you can give me 300 for my birthday, I'll take that. That's a free gift. That's not even buying me nothing. I'm not even asking to send money to me, because like I said, I don't need that. But like I said, I definitely appreciate the support, regardless for anybody. Like I said, one of my coworkers at work subscribed to my channel. He told me, like I said, he loves supporting a black man, so I appreciate the support from him. And yeah, like I said, my goal is to be one of the best sports podcasts in the world one day. Like I said, and I know I can get there. Be one of the best sports journalists. I will get there, and I'll make sure to always remember the people who helped me get there. So, but this has been your favorite host, Cameron Lindsay, of your favorite sports podcast. I hope it's your favorite sports podcast. It's mine, of course, because I am the host. But again, I'll catch y'all next time for another episode. Make sure to watch football all week long, got high school, college, NFL. But I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.